G'day there guys, how's it going? Markee here, back at it again with another episode of r/legal advice. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the content. Posted by user, AmITheA is your uncle. Titled, Am I the a-hole for suing my girlfriend after she had my 1967 Impala project taken to the scrapyard? Now, I'll try to keep this short. I had a 1967 Impala 4-door that I bought in February 2019. A couple months ago, I bought my first house that had a 2.5 car garage. I moved the car in first and started tearing it down for a complete restoration. I had the body in one bay and the chassis in another, plus the whole garage filled with parts. About 2 months ago, my girlfriend came to live with me during this whole crisis, and the whole time she hated that car. She wants to park in the garage, but I have 2 acres of land with a lot of nice places to park under shady trees. Or hell, even in the barn if it has to be inside. I tell her tough luck, it's my house, and it's not like I can just throw it back together real quick. Anyways, I was out of town for a couple days on a business trip for the small local company that I work for. When I got back, my girlfriend was all smiles, making me food all the time, doing all the chores and all that. I thought maybe she was just happy to have me home, but then I realized that I didn't see her car in its usual spot. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure that I mow that area and keep it clean, and she said not to worry, she parked in the garage. I asked how, and she told me to go check it out. Turns out that while I was gone, she hired some people to come over and move everything related to that car, including the drivetrain, body, and chassis and all parts, and take it to the local dump/scrapyard. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I had spent over $11,000 on that car, including new parts, services, and the car itself. I told her that I was going to be taking her to court for that, and she brushed me off like I was being dramatic. I told her that it's done between us and to pack her things and leave. I admit I was really angry, but I did end up getting a lawyer, and as I have all the receipts for all the money I spent, and I have her on my house's security cam footage letting the guys in and watching them take it all, I think I can win. Her family and friends are absolutely blowing me up, saying it's just a stupid old piece of junk and that she cannot pay back all that money I spent and that I should just let it go. But I've been putting all my time, effort and money into that car for over 1.5 years now, and damn it if I'm not going to get justice for what she did. Am I the a-hole? Edit, thank you all so much for the support and awards and everything. I'm glad to have some people on my side. I got a call from her mum about 20 minutes ago, and she told me that I was ruining her daughter's life over a stupid car. I told her she ruined her own life. I've been gathering documentation and stuff, and I'm about to head down to the police station and file a report, as suggested by Lots here. Once again, thank you all. Update: I went to the police station last night, and was told to come back in the morning. Just got back and filed an official report against her for grand larceny and for grand theft auto. I showed them all the receipts I had for the car and the footage of her letting the guys come and take it all, as well as the title for the vehicle in my name. They said they will be in contact with all 3 parties, me, ex-girlfriend, and junkyard guys, soon, and they will hopefully be able to recover some or all of the car, just have to wait now. Not the a-hole, sue her ass. Sue her for the cost, plus a few extra thousand for the time and money. Have her prosecuted for theft, destruction of private property, and have the guys that came to get it prosecuted for receiving stolen goods. Nail them all to the wall. I mean, I can't blame the guys that came and got it. She told them it was her dad's and she had lost the title for it and wanted it gone, and they believed her, so it's not their fault they got lied to. Taking a car that the title was lost on makes them kind of shady. I've had cars sent to the scrapyard, and if I didn't have a title in hand, they refused to take it. This is her story. When the guys saw what they were getting, I'm sure they were jumping up and down inside, unless they know nothing about cars. I mean, at first glance, it did kind of just look like a half-finished project that hasn't been touched in decades. But yeah, maybe they thought they could make a pretty penny on all the original parts that were there, which I'm sure they could. Reach out to them with proof that you owned it and it was illegally taken. If they had no trouble taking something without a title, then maybe they kept it for themselves as extra parts. Not the a-hole. How do you have the nerve to do something like that in someone's home? She isn't even your wife. She went too far, and I say you dodged a bullet. I wouldn't say dodged a bullet, more like it hit me in the shoulder instead of the heart. Hurts, but it could be a lot worse. I'm sure the tune of 11,000 hurts and gone in an instant. When I say dodged a bullet, I mean if she can do this behind your back with no remorse, imagine what else. All 'cause she didn't like it. Not the a-hole. Holy crap. Definitely not the a-hole. That's like your girlfriend selling a dog out from under you while you're on a business trip because she didn't like it. The audacity. If she didn't like it, she could have just ignored it. The most toxic part is that she sees no issue. Your property, your house, she throws it away? And if any judge knows the worth of that car, they would understand suing her for the costs, let alone the time you spent on it. That's a hobby and a damn good one. If she couldn't support you in your project, that probably would have been a red flag for anything you do later on. I think this is all justified. Posted by user Financial Hornet 7, titled, "Am I the a-hole for kicking my son out because he wouldn't shut up about how I destroyed his life? I, 56 female, invited my son, Eric, 37 male, to come live with me because his wife, 41 female, works shifts with coronavirus patients. I was happy to do it, but he was ungrateful and irritable since the first day. A little background. I supported Eric on my own. I put my own education on hold and worked multiple jobs, so I always tried to be an involved parent. He was gifted, so I fought for him to be put into the best classes, etc., and when he graduated high school, I wanted him to become a doctor. There was no pressure involved. I only told him I would pay for him to go to medical school, but if he had a good alternative in mind, I would consider it. He didn't, and so he went off to med school, graduated, and became a doctor, and I was very proud. The issue is that he doesn't see things the same way. Throughout the years, he kept whining about how I forced him to be something he doesn't enjoy, and always trying to paint me as the bad guy. Even though I let him live rent-free, paid for extra stuff like therapy, ensured that he has no debt, things other people would kill for. Even the facts contradict him. He has a very well-paid job, friends, he met his current wife at school, etc. Since the wife wasn't here, I decided to bring up some of the concerns I have about her. Among other things, she's tried to get him to cut me off before, but despite her best efforts, I was able to save our relationship. And he lost it. He started screaming and shouting some really vile abuse because apparently she wants to leave him. I tried to make him see the silver lining and convince him that he could do better than someone like that, but he just flipped on me instead and started on his "you're the reason my life sucks" routine. I hate you, etc., etc. spiel. Just generally acting like a child. I wouldn't tolerate abuse like that in my own home, so I kicked him out, and I thought I was completely within my rights to. I just got a phone call from my brother. Eric went there after he left the house, telling me that I'll be lucky if Eric ever wants to speak to me again. I told him that all I wanted was an apology and he could come stay here again. But he hung up, and now I'm wondering if I did anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. You absolutely 100% sound like a narcissist. I'm not even giving you the judgment based on kicking him out. I have a lot of experiences with narcissists, and everything about this language suggests that you're one majorly. Get yourself help or continue to alienate your son. There's no other option. I agree, mate. The fact that her brother seems to recognize her behavior just confirms your suspicion. You're the a-hole for clearly not telling the full story here. He and his wife wouldn't have these feelings if you hadn't give them reason to. Also, the wife wasn't there, so she thought it would be a good opportunity to bring up her concerns about the wife? You're the a-hole. What I'm reading here is all the financial things you threw at him. Yeah, he's a doctor, but apparently hates it. Sure, you gave him a choice, but it was doctor or maybe. You then tell him his wife sucks when he's basically on the verge of divorce, at least partially because he refused to cut you off. Wow. You then kick him out because he's ungrateful? Okay. There's clearly a lot here you're not talking about. This entire thing reads like someone who molded their child without any input from said child. Why would the wife want him to cut you off? Generally, it takes a lot for someone to tell their significant other, "Hey, your mom? Maybe we should never talk to her again." Edit. Reading your other comments, I wouldn't be surprised if his marriage is on the rocks specifically because of you. Posted by user SysProblemsTA. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister to get over the fact that I wore a bikini around her boyfriend? I love to swim, and since we have a swimming pool in our backyard, I am practically swimming daily. I don't think I own a one-piece swimsuit, so I always am wearing a two-piece swimsuit. My sister's boyfriend lives like 5 minutes away from our place, and he spends a lot of time here. The living room has a sliding glass door to the backyard, and the window to my sister's room is looking outside the backyard. I was taking a nap in the grass after I was done swimming and listening to music. I didn't even know my sister had her boyfriend over, because I was in the backyard for basically the whole afternoon, from 12 to 4. My sister woke me up and called me an a-hole for wearing something so skimpy around her boyfriend. I asked her what she meant, and I guess her boyfriend kept looking out the window while I was napping and swimming. I know, weird. I told her that if he was looking at me, that is his problem, and that I wasn't trying to cause anything. She was ticked at me, like I haven't seen her this mad since we were kids, and had to share a room. She full on told me not to dress like a tramp when her boyfriend is over. I told her to get the hell over herself, and if she has a problem with her boyfriend looking at me, then she should talk with him, not me. I then went to my room, and we didn't speak for the rest of the day till dinner. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She should really talk to her boyfriend about it, not you. She's angry at her boyfriend, but she doesn't want to fight with him, so she's trying to solve the problem on your side, instead of talking to her boyfriend about staring at you. Or she's insecure, and her boyfriend wasn't actually staring at you. Ask her if the huge red flag her relationship is waving is available to use as a cover-up. Oh my god. Not the a-hole. Jesus, this again? I swear I see someone comment at least once an Am I the a-hole post, but not every little thing is a red flag. As my dad always said, you can shop but never buy when in a committed relationship. To say staring at someone assumingly attractive enough to stare at is somehow a red flag is just naive. Now, if you're talking about the fact that her sister feels more obligated to bitch or shame her sister, then yeah, I agree, and please downvote my dumbass to oblivion. Edit, thank you for the award. This is my first one ever, so extra special. Edit 2, I need to specify that I know staring is wrong and should have been a red flag, and I definitely did not mean staring, I meant a glance. Edit 3, people are getting lost in the saying I learned from my dad. No, he is not objectifying women, he is saying that it's okay to look, but don't abuse it, or hurt your significant other by doing something regrettable with them. I've seen a ton of comments saying the same thing, but none of them have been objectifying women for saying it. I was gonna say, the sister's reaction is more a red flag than anything. We don't even know if he was looking. Oh my god, not the a-hole. First of all, it's your body and your house. You can dress however the hell you want, and if she has a problem with her boyfriend staring, she should talk to him, not you. Also, it's not like you wear bikinis just because. You're just wearing a swimsuit because you want to swim. Edit, yes, sorry, I do agree that even if she is wearing a bikini just because, this would be appropriate. But I do think that detail would have made her sister sound more reasonable, even though she'd still be wrong. Not the a-hole. It's a bikini and you were swimming. It's not like you were parading around in your underwear. You're right, this is something she needs to talk about with him, not blame you for. Posted by user Brave Friendship. Titled, Am I the a-hole for punishing my son for not wanting to go to his grandfather's funeral? My wife's father recently passed away, and long story short, he spent a lot of time with our 8-year-old son and they got along fairly well. In the days leading up to the funeral, my son was obviously upset about his grandfather's passing, but nonetheless, we asked him if he wanted to go to the funeral, and he said yes. On the day of the funeral, as I was driving us there, one of us mentioned it being open caskets, and my son asked what that meant. I told him that his grandfather's body would be on display so we can face him and say any final goodbyes. My son freaked out and suddenly went into hysterics about not wanting to go, as he didn't want to see the body. My wife tried to calm him down, but he was very upset. After his constant wailing, I got ticked off and slammed on my brakes and turned the car around to drop him off. I was yelling at him for changing his mind the whole way back while he sat there doing his crying act. Fortunately, we were able to drop him off at our neighbor's house, who had babysit him in the past, and we arrived to the funeral late and missed most of the speeches. I was livid and my wife was upset, being that it was her father's funeral. When we got back to the house, I ended up punishing him for 3 weeks. No TV/games/etc., and all his time had to be spent studying. My wife had been disagreeing with me about the punishment, but I told her that we gave him the option of not going, and he chose to do so, and that it wasn't the right to change his mind and made us late. Normally, I wouldn't be as harsh, but since my wife is in a vulnerable state and she missed most of the funeral, I essentially blame my son 100% for all of this. You're the a-hole. An 8-year-old is not emotionally equipped to see the dead body of his grandfather, and you punished him for that because you had to miss the speeches. As a parent, you failed to prepare him by telling him what to expect until you were in the car on the way to the service. You're the one who should be punished, that poor kid. I was 29 and not ready to see my grandfather in an open casket. You're the a-hole, OP. When I put my cat down when I was 27, I was not emotionally prepared for her to die in my arms and to see her body. You're the a-hole, OP. You're the a-hole. If this is real, please get help. You appear to be an abusive parent. I blame my son 100% for this. He was unprepared for seeing a literal fudging dead body of someone he loved. How dare he? If only he had a parent to help him understand. He got emotional and had his grief exasperated by this realization. How dare he, if only he had someone to help him understand what he's feeling. This caused you to miss the speeches. How dare he, if only the adults in his life had better time management. And you openly admit that you actually think all of this is the 8-year-old's problem. Grow a fudging pair and deal with your grown-up problems and the fruits of your crappy communication and unsupportive parenting. You just taught your son that it's unacceptable and worthy of punishment to you that he has negative emotions. If you continue, I hope you enjoy having Christmas dinner alone. You're the a-hole. Ugh, exactly. In some cultures like mine that cremate bodies, the body is placed in a temperature-controlled box until it's taken for cremation. When my grandpa died, I held it together for my parents and grandma for a long time while grandpa was in the box, specifically because I didn't look at him. When they brought him out of the box and we said our final goodbyes, I lost it, and this was in my teens. OP is an insensitive, emotionally abusive, unfit parent. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. He's a child who barely understands the concept of death and who was grieving, and instead of being a parent and explaining to him what was going on so he could understand, you got angry and punished him for it. The concept of an open casket can be creepy for some adults, let alone children, and there was no reason for you to punish him for not comprehending the concept of it. You also should have told him way beforehand so he could be prepared. Posted by user Angry McMurder, titled, Am I the a-hole for walking out of a job interview? So around this time last year, I was in the job hunt and was looking at tech sales positions in my area. I'd been in this career about 10 years and had been recently laid off. I was granted an interview at a relatively large startup downtown, and after the initial phone screen, I did my research and went on site for my in-person interview. Admittedly, I got there about 25 minutes early, which was pushing obnoxious, but nobody was at the front desk, so I signed in using the iPad, took a seat, and waited. I waited until the time of my interview, got up, looked around, and started trying to get the attention of people walking around, as nobody had acknowledged me at this point. At 15 minutes past the interview scheduled time, a lady came into the lobby and asked what I was there for. I let her know I had an interview scheduled for 15 minutes ago. She asked me to hold on and went back into the office, and a few minutes later came back with an agenda with materials laid out about the company. The agenda confirmed that we were supposed to have already started and that I had 2 interviewers in the next 30-minute blocks. A new person came over and sat me in a room and told me to read over the materials to get familiar. I did this for 45 minutes, and when the VP of sales didn't show up to interview me, I got ticked, stood up, and left. I found my way to the front desk and told the person who was not there before, and had likely no idea who I was, that I was ending my interview and to have a great day. About 15 minutes later, I got a frantic call from the recruiter saying that the VP was looking for me and that they wanted to start my interview. I answered that if they weren't willing to respect my time, that I knew all I needed to know about what working there would be like. I told several folks this story, and it's been a 50-50 on whether or not I did the right thing, or that I don't know the circumstances, and that I could have stuck around and at least interviewed and let them know later on. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. From the sounds of it, they were 1+ hours late and didn't offer any reason to you while you were there. That's an enormous red flag. Agreed. People don't understand that job interviews go both ways. The interviewee gets to judge the company as well. This company failed terribly on the interview. That's what is interesting, because companies and people interviewing usually have a bloated sense of importance and power, and interviewees usually feel nervous and eager to please, and will put up with all sorts of bull. My guess is the company in question, or rather the interviewers in question, probably think they did nothing wrong and think the interviewee was rude and lost out. Not the a-hole. The interview goes both ways. If they aren't organized enough now, or they don't respect your time, you can't expect much difference once you're hired. Yeah, as much as the company is interviewing you, you're interviewing the company. OP knows what his time is worth, and that company doesn't. You're exactly right. I'm a lead software engineer at my company and conduct the interviews for junior through senior dev positions. I am also a habitually late person. I am never late for an interview. A proper interview is a two-way street, and I want to be there on time to get to know the person that would be working with us. And OP says, yeah, I ended up taking a job at a non-profit. Thanks. Out of curiosity, the people who said you were the a-hole, what reason or rationale did they provide? Because you were clearly not the a-hole. One said it was unprofessional and that I had a horrible attitude. I see their confusion. They thought you were interviewing for a position to be a doormat and have people walk all over you. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing. Posted by user Laptop Situation, titled, Am I the a-hole for borrowing girlfriend's laptop? Since world events, staying at girlfriend's. She works from home. I don't have to work, but have full salary. I kill time by watching shows, playing online games, and hanging with my girlfriend when she's not working. Yesterday, my laptop broke. I don't know what's wrong with it, and I will have to bring it in. My girlfriend has 2 laptops, one for work and one for fun. Her work is encrypted or something, so she doesn't like using it for general browsing. I asked to borrow her extra laptop yesterday for my game. She said after her movie ended because she was streaming from fun laptop to TV and working at the same time. It would be about 1.5 hours. When she went to the washroom, I took her fun laptop and switched to a similar movie on Netflix. I don't understand why she had to watch this movie right now. She has Netflix, Amazon, Crave, and Disney+. So many options to choose from. Like, she's a bit privileged with a smart TV in her room, her guest room, and her living room, an Xbox, PS4, Switch, and Nintendo 64. Sometimes I think she likes having the best of everything. Anyhow, she got really upset with me and said I violated her boundaries. Big fight last night. She made me sleep in the guest room, and my guy friends think she's overreacting, like it's just a movie. This morning she said she slept on it, and she feels like we need a break, and asked me to leave. I left this afternoon to my parents, but borrowed the extra laptop until I get mine fixed. So she called freaking out, called me a thief. She said she will call the cops, and accused me of being an a-hole, but my mum thinks she needs to chill. Maybe do a spa day or something. Like, she has 2 laptops and all these gaming devices. I think she'll be fine. So, am I the a-hole for borrowing my girlfriend's laptop? Update. After a long conversation, my girlfriend has told me that there were a few things in the last 7 weeks that has upset her and that she felt gave me many hints. She didn't tell me outright though. I told her I was sorry and it was a really dick move for me to take her laptop. My brother dropped it off earlier. I am 23 male and she is 26 female. Don't know why people want to know that. She accused me of using her for free housing, food, and stuff. I talked with my brother, and he said it's common sense to chip to these things, because she's my girlfriend and not my mum. I guess I'm an idiot, but at the same time, I wish she just straight up asked me for money to contribute, versus, we're running out of toilet paper, or we just used a quarter of gas on this trip. God, man, why can't she just read my mind, man? This can't be real. Obviously, you're the a-hole. You took her property without her permission, and then when she broke up with you, you took it with you after leaving her house? What the hell, dude? This can't be real. Nobody is this dense. And even if she didn't break up with him when she asked him to leave, she's definitely going to be dumping him after she gets her laptop back. With a mother like that, no wonder OP is dense and entitled. I really hope this isn't real, but I've known people who are as entitled as this IRL. Yes, you're the a-hole, it's her laptop, not yours. Give it back and be a responsible adult. Get yours fixed or get a new one. She's not spoiled by having all these things. She works hard, earns money, and buys them like a responsible adult. And I think that's where I'm going to leave today's episode, guys. I don't have much to say. I don't think that is a real story at the end there, but it's interesting because, it's always possible that it is real, and if it is, he's a terrible person and just needs to learn more about life and get a life himself. Time to throw you guys to outro Markee. G'day there guys, outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, Markee2. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.